Hi everyone, my name is Shakita Jackson and I am the founder and CEO of Shakita Jackson Enterprise, a social impact agency located here in Prince George's, Maryland, here to empower our communities through generational wealth building, resources and support, as well as other types of, resources we provide and services we offer. Today, I wanted to talk about the different types of adversities Black women go through in leadership world or corporate America, as you will. As a person or as a Black woman who has been in leadership since undergrad, I have experienced so many adversities. It's ridiculous. From being threatened, from having death threats, from being persecuted and ridiculed by my own community, to, just really experiencing the gaslighting, the lack of acknowledgement and recognition that goes into, you know, keeping Black women who are trying to be leaders in that box. And it's not easy. I'll tell you this from the beginning. It is not easy. I have been doing this ever since undergrad. So I started my professional career journey when I was, it's been so long, y'all. I've been in this forever. I started being a community leader when I turned 14 years old. When I turned 14, I was like, this isn't right. I want to do something. How can I do it? I started my community leadership through church, I would step up in places where, the pastor or, the ushers, the mothers needed me to be because I just wanted to be able to support my community. Then I branched out into, doing marches. My first march, I believe I was doing, it was the breast cancer walk or the march for breast cancer awareness, due to the fact that my great grandmother passed away from breast cancer complications, and breast cancer just runs deep in the family. So I started from a very, very, very young age to now, when being a 28-year-old running, being able having my own business, already ran for office, did all of these things, but still gets the least respect in certain spaces. And the reason because of that is what I've noticed is that because a lot of Black leaders before me, Black women leaders, they they were very passive aggressive. And I am a very straightforward, direct person. I'm gonna set boundaries. I'm gonna advocate for myself. And traditional leadership does not like new leadership or transformative leadership. I'm going to set healthy boundaries. Work life balance matters to me. I can't allow you to burn me out. And I've realized that managers, they push back on that. They get upset. Oh, you're telling me that you don't want to work? I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm not about to burn myself out or drive myself insane for a job that is barely paying me the adjustable livable wage that I need to be able to be comfortable. So, understanding that, I was like, Shakita, I want to be my own entrepreneur. I want to be a boss. I want to be a boss. Let's do it. So I founded Shakita Jackson Enterprise 2020, technically 2019. That's when I was doing the foundation, building the structure and business plan, but officially launched it in 2020. And since being an entrepreneur, I realized that if you do not know what you are doing, it's so hard for you to catch up. And what I mean by that is not saying if you don't know what you're doing at that moment, to just give up completely. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is I have noticed, because I do help, I help my clients, start their business, starting from the bottom. That's my LLC, application assistance with trademarking, business plan development, those types of things, to really help first time entrepreneurs grow and succeed. And I've realized when working with people or people that, been entrepreneurs before me, most of those businesses haven't thrived or haven't, made it past the pandemic because they were a little confused on how to establish that growth, establish that increasement engagement. And as a person, listen, I take notes. I take very active notes. Like I have very, very influential mentors. One of my mentors is a U.S. judge, federal judge. Love her to death. Love her to death. From state representatives, attorneys, like my mentor group is just amazing. And I always tap into that. I always tap into that community because I'm taking notes. How did you get where you're going? How did you do this? And honestly, out of all of the jobs that I worked at, I probably have a good 5 to 8 mentors because you can't ask every supervisor to be a mentor. Most of my supervisors, besides those 8, like 5 to 8, I could not stand. They constantly just tried to belittle me, just try to just make me feel like I didn't deserve to be in the space that I was being in. And I always challenged that. And they always got mad at me. Again, traditional leadership does not like new leadership. And it makes no sense to me because we can't continue to think that the same thing or the same leadership is okay when we see the outcomes of it. We see high unemployment rates. We see people getting burnt out. We see all of these factors, but we still think it's okay to do the same thing over and over again. Absolutely not. And as a Black person I'm from Detroit, I'm a first generation high school graduate, college graduate, entrepreneur, political candidate, whatever. You think I worked my butt off so hard to be belittled by you? Absolutely not. And I had to realize at a very, very young age that jobs are replaceable. Jobs are absolutely replaceable. Like you can't just be at the same job all your life. It's replaceable. And don't be afraid to take that next step. Like, even if you have to get on unemployment for a while, like do what you need to do to grow. Like I'm not giving you this advice to say, oh, just be unemployed and don't do anything with your life. No, use that time, use that moment to really develop what you want to be, what your goals are. Like I like to have goal settings sessions before the end of the new year, like before the end of the year, before the new year starts, so I can mentally start preparing myself about what I need to do, how I need to execute it, and get my brain thinking the way it needs to be thinking so I can continue to grow. If you don't set yourself down for that and you're just doing any and everything what everyone else wants you to do besides what you want to do, you often gonna find yourself in that loophole of being unhappy and unsatisfied, not even just with work, but in your personal life as well. So definitely encourage to realize that, listen, it's okay to quit some jobs. It's okay. And or just, do what you need to do. Like if you want to work at the job, don't stop investing into yourself. Don't stop investing into yourself. Don't lose yourself for an employer. If that employer is not your name, if you are not writing your checks, do not be vulnerable or gullible for an employer. So I realized that at a young age, and when I realized that, I'm confident. I'm going to places like, yes, you're gonna hear my voice. You're gonna hear about the impacted communities. You're gonna hear about affordable housing. You're gonna hear about the criminal justice system. You're going to hear about everything, because I came from poverty, and I'm building something out of myself. And there's so many other people out here like me that's trying to do the same thing, but don't have the same resources and opportunities. Why is that? So that's how I come into spaces demanding that respect, demanding that acknowledgement, because I worked my butt off to be here. You're not going to make me feel like I'm any less than anybody else in here. But I realized not everybody is like that. Some other people, they're a little timid and more shy, which is okay. However, if you aren't a vocal person like me who will do it in front of any and everybody, have that conversation with your supervisor. Like, hey, supervisor, schedule a meeting with them. Let them know you're not comfortable with certain things. It's all about believing in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you cannot expect other people to believe in you. And Black women, we have often settled for so less than what we're worth. And that people think that we're programmed to continue to think that we are that way when we're not. We demand generational wealth, we demand legacy building, we demand racial equity, we demand gender pay gaps to be eliminated. We demand stuff because we deserve to grow too. We deserve to be able to pass down generational wealth. That shouldn't only be for selected individuals. And as a Black woman, who is in a relationship with a Black man, I realized that those struggles are even a little bit more interesting, just due to the fact that when we go to spaces, most people acknowledge him before they acknowledge me. Now, I'm not, not saying that I have an issue with that or anything, but that is something that I have noticed, especially if I'm the one that have connected them. Like if I connected you, like, hey, this is my partner, this is such and such, and then next time you see us, you're approaching my partner before you approach me. That's weird. So it's just also understanding like that male, that gender, discrepancies that we go through and that we face as well. It's like people just try to put like a band-aid on stuff and act like stuff don't exist, but when it's so like it's right in our face. How can you ignore something that's right in your face? Like, I've never been a person to ignore something that's right in my face. If I see it in my face, I need to figure out how to address that or how to solve that problem. Like, never just being delusional. Never being delusional. And being a Black woman leader, the struggles that we go through is difficult. It's very difficult. But we got role models. We got ancestors like Ida B. Wells, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, like Coretta Scott King, Betty Shabazz, Maya Angelou, Rosa Parks, okay? Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, Diana Ross. You get what I'm saying? We got all of these amazing women that paved the way for us. And now it shows us that we can do it. Like me looking at them, I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. Let's continue to increase Black women leadership. Don't give up on yourself. Don't ever think that you should just be nothing more than an employee, because no, you deserve to continue to create that generational wealth. If you are a person that's fully into corporate America, that's okay. But make sure that you're you understand how to do investments, 401k, IRAs, health insurance, life insurance. Make sure you understand different components of generational wealth, even if you're not going that entrepreneur route. All right, y'all. It has been great talking to y'all. I do plan on, just being more, creating more content that is more authentic and real, because that's me. And I'm excited to go on this journey with y'all. And like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. And also check out my website at www.cjenterprise.co and learn more about different things that we're doing out here in this community. We have a couple of events coming up. We're always doing stuff, always looking for partnerships, and we travel. Okay. So if you be like, hey, Shakita, come to Georgia, come to protest, I'm there. Power to the people. We're here to empower you. Strategic community impact begins with us. All right. Bye.